How many other monohulls do you know of that you can do this aboard and set off out to sea in real luxury and comfort? Or this, escape the crowds in this day and age. You can nose right into the shallows, you can put the boat on the beach. How many other monohulls do you know at this size that you could do that? Maybe a custom aluminium swing keeler, but on the Southerly 48 you can get in to a meter's depth or put it on the beach. Get away from it all. What a cracking afternoon. Might not look like it now, but we had pretty lovely conditions for sailing, really, especially for this time of year. Not even really properly spring yet, so the boat behaved really well. We had an average of sort of 18 to 23 knots of breeze. Started off reefed and went upwind for quite a while, right out to Western Saloon, right out to the Needles. And the boat behaved really well, never really felt pressed. Not surprising, it's a tried and tested setup, Stephen Jones design. You can really draw a hull shape. Look at this, we've got quite a lot of breeze now, and you're seeing I've not got too much pressure on the wheel at all. That was quite a lively gust. And this boat's a proven design really for doing this sort of thing, for doing easy miles, especially as a couple. Southerly built 7 or 8 of these, this Stephen Jones 47 originally, and now Discovery have built 10 under their name, 9 of which are the Southerly swing-keeled version, and you can have a fixed keel version as well. Why is it easy for a couple? For starters, easy deep spade twin rudders. It never really feels pressed on the wind with the gusts on. It's a kindly hull shape. Smooth going into the swells, and the rig setup really helps as well. So self-tacking jib, in-mast furling main. It felt lovely just being in the cockpit by myself, heading out to sea, and just the boat behaving really well. We've now got the keel down, which you can see on this LED here. It's right in the down position, but it's just a case of literally pressing and holding. Hydraulic ram brings the keel up, and you've got the LED positions to show where it's at. So when we put the kite up, we could lift the keel up, ram with the tide as well, reduce the drag under us, and obviously to nose into the shallows as well. And otherwise, yeah, it's just very easy. It's not by today's standards an overly beamy boat, so you get this nice position in the helm area, a little sunken well each side. Could do with a little bit of non-slip on there, but that's pretty easy to do. It's not too far between the wheels, so Paul and Cheryl from Distant Shores were the first couple to buy this sort of renewed 480 design, and you can see why. You can just go anywhere on it, across an ocean or into the shallows as we did earlier this evening. Cockpit wise, very easy to handle as well. So you just, you've got a sheet winch each side. So this is for the self-tacking jib sheet or the main sheet. Those two there, both on clutches with a bit of tail stowage there as well. So you can swap those over, and it's a German-led main. So it goes forward to the boom and then back to the other side winch as well. So on the other winch, you've got the outhaul for the main, and you've got the main sheet as well. Very easy. And then further forward, I'll show you the other winches further forward, but you've got the Genoa sheets on those. So then when we got out to the Needles, we could put the kite up and come back in 20 knots of true breeze, and just magic. So when the weather does close in, you can move forward in the cockpit and be in this complete protection. Deep coamings, nice angled recline to sit against. Good place to stand and watch. And you know, having this protection from the spray hood and the adjoining hood from the arch as well, it really works. There's no wind in here. You can sit in the dry when it is raining. Big clear panels on these modern spray hoods as well. They really work well. You see these tonneau winches I mentioned earlier, located here. They're both manual as well. And the coach roof winch for the topping lift here, and the kicker, that's electric. You can have electric on all of them, and I think I would, you know, if I was a couple, I'd probably go for the electric on the aft winches as well. So as well as this nice warm protected area here, you've got another option as well, which I'll show you now. And that is another benefit of a Ray saloon, being able to sit at the nav station and have proper vision out around, be able to look up at the sails, but just to be able to come down here, check the chart. If there is still someone in the helm on the port side, you know, in eye contact with them, works really well. And if you don't like getting too cold, come and sit in here for a bit. Thank you very much. There's a pretty good reason why Southerlys were so popular for liveaboard blue water cruisers. To be able to be inside and yet enjoy your surroundings on a monohull from this Ray saloon position, it's very appealing. And then you add this touch of luxury discovery finish to it, and you can see that this 48 is a very appealing package indeed. Let's take a walk through now and have a look at some of the features in detail. So when Discovery bought Southerly, they changed the deck design and the interior layout and the options, and also the quality of finish on the interior as well, and the options for the joinery and the finish. But essentially you still have a layout that is really suitable for especially a couple. A great seagoing galley, the Ray saloon, and a choice of two excellent double cabins. When I went on board the first of the Discovery model, which is the Revelation, last year at the Düsseldorf boat show, it was pretty amazing because it has a low saloon, so you really see the difference of not having this Ray saloon version that you have on a swing keel, and this sort of single level version with a real super yacht feel and a big open interior. And it really opened my eyes to the options that Discovery now offer. And I think this one is obviously the most popular, to have the swing keel version, so the keel box sits in below that Ray saloon, and the cruising ground that offers. However, coming down the steps, you'll notice immediately, you know, it's quite a narrow and steep descent into an area which there are multiple levels on, and that is a theme that you can't really get away from with a Ray saloon. And it means, you know, you're always going up and down little steps. I think you get used to it pretty quickly. Moving into the galley, as I said, brilliant layout for being at sea, because you are braced in all positions. You can wedge yourself in here, port, starboard, or pitching up and down. Works really, really well. Double sink below here, and plenty of cold stowage. So you've got a lift top fridge in here, front opener here, ice box in the back, and this one also has an optional third fridge over there as well. And then surround stowage for pots and pans, crockery, cutlery, that sort of thing. Optional microwave, the 3-burner GN East Bass there. You can have increase the lithium ion battery capacity and have a full electric galley. So you've got a bank of soft closing drawers, and then larger stowage beneath the sink there for pots and pans. And this is quite indicative of the boat. It's a great Stephen Jones hull shape. It's nice and low freeboard, but it's comparatively not very voluminous for today's boats. So what they've ended up doing is putting quite a lot of the electronics and the mechanics in the bilges and in the lockers. So here we have, you know, the compressors for the fridge and freezer. And we'll see as we go through the boat, there is a lot of the extras, especially the aircon, the waters makers, that sort of thing, are all contained in various lockers. So you would spend quite a lot of time pulling seat covers off and going into the bilges to get at stuff. But it's all been neatly done. We've seen a bit of the saloon. You know, this is an example of the detailing here that Discovery brings. Just first class joinery. Really nice layout for a saloon for 4 or 6 people to sit around. And then you get all this space below. So let's look at this a bit. And this is what I'm saying, you know, your switchboard is not up where your nav station where it normally is. It's here, and then your water maker controls are in this cupboard here. And then we'll pull apart some of this now to show you what's underneath the saloon. So then pulling out the panels below this saloon table, you've got access into the keel ram there, and the Dyneema line that pulls that up. And then again, so the generator is outboard to port there below. So in the top part of this seating below the saloon, they put a water maker in. You know, these are optional extras, obviously. But then to get at that, you need to pull this panel off to get in here to access the Onan generator. And the Discovery saying they're now fitting Fisher Panda ones just to make those generators a bit smaller, because the access is slightly limited for that. Okay, so you have the hydraulics for the keel here, and then that's your manual pump. Your handle goes in there as your manual backup as well. And then you can see below here, I've taken the panels off, so you've got your rake or fuel filters mounted there, but below them, again, you've got the keel ram down there. You get a better look at it now. And then in this cupboard below this seat, as well as the electrical gear, circuit breakers, you've got the pin that goes in to lock the keel. So you can lock the keel up if you need to. I think long-term cruisers will really appreciate how, you know, some of the thoroughbred features of this and how on hand they are. So, you know, just down from the companionway here, you're into the day heads and shower, but ventilated wet hanging locker just where you want it. And then that's the heads there. There's a separate aft door from the cabin to get in there as well. Step up, 2 little steps up to the chart table area, and you are still sort of within sight of someone on the port helm in communication. You got a view up to your sails, and yeah, almost surround you really from these huge coach roof windows. Nice place to stand and watch if you've got crappy weather outside. And yeah, good little chart table, lift top. And then the angled panel there for mounting your chart plotter. VHF and electronics is just under the deck here. And then a bank of drawers. This actually has an optional washing machine below the seat. Amazing how small these things are. And then these lift panels, I think the majority, those are just water tank under those. And then access to oil filters. And the sea strainers. Moving forward, as I say, they've gone for an optional fridge, extra fridge here, and you get this large surface area, work surface area here. This could be a pilot bunk seating or a pilot bunk with a trotter box that goes under, or you get this extra stowage area, which I think would come in quite handy, and really nice actually to have a proper chart area to work at if you want to, or a standing desk area. And then this has been a real difference that Discovery's made to this design, and that is giving a real wow factor to an owner's cabin, really, that can be the forward cabin now. So I think both cabins, aft or forward, in the 2-cabin layout are owner's cabins essentially. So you can choose to have this cabin in port and the aft cabin at sea, for example. But loads of space. The other main layout option to have here, if you wanted it, if you had kids, small kids or something, you could have a bunk cabin here. In this format though, you get this great sense of space, loads of natural light through the extra set of windows, and a vanity or desk area here. And again, a bit more stowage space as well. So you get this bank of 3 cupboards back here, and that's the main stowage space for the cabin, as well as the 3 drawers. These lift up, so that's a vanity area there. And then the 2 cupboards each side of the berth, and a deep drawer below it. But the quality of finish is really very high indeed. You can see where Discovery's left its mark. Again, it's a good example of the multiple layers here. So there's 6'3" standing headroom where I am now, but then you lose standing headroom altogether on that first step. But island style berth, so walk around each side, so much lateral light. You've got 4 overhead opening hatches in here, plus these large tall hull windows each side. Really is a very nice cabin indeed. Nice inlaid joinery there, and then the leather handles, details. So good size ensuite heads for this as well. Wash basin area, heads, and separate shower. Very nicely done, nice and light. Corian floors, Corian worktops, all built by Discovery in Marchwood. You notice there's no creaking going on this floor as well. That's sort of gone on the days of the teak and holly on Southerly's. They use a sort of vinyl type manufactured flooring now. Let's have a look. So no maintenance issues with it. It looks really nice, and I presume it will be quite hard wearing as well, but yeah, there's no creaking at all, so big solid ply floors. Then moving aft again into this, what was always the owner's cabin originally. You will notice that is a tight doorway, so it's by today's standards, you might have to turn sideways a little bit to get through here, and indeed into the heads as well. However, once you have come down these 2 steps, it's a pretty sumptuous cabin again. The only drawback really for in here is that this height is 5'10". So anyone taller than, well, anyone taller than 5'9" really is going to start bumping their head between sides. It's just the cockpit sole that's restricting height a bit there, but great berth. I like the way it's got the supports on either side. Again, big banker hull windows, plenty of natural light, ventilation. There's another opening hatch up above there as well. And generous stowage in here, in the deep ventilated and lit wardrobes each side. And another deep drawer below the berth. And then you've got the access to the engine room, which is a bit unusual because it's mainly sort of top access from here. We saw the fuel filters were mounted under the saloon there. So this hatch removes, and then these bottom 2 steps lift on gas struts. And then you have this access to the top part. There is a panel here and here from the owner's cabin to get at the gearbox and the aft side of the engine. So you can get at the filter here, but as I see, the oil filters are under here and then the fuel filters are under there as well. So in terms of cockpit stowage, you have these three really useful shallow benches, which are the helm seats, the middle one being the largest. And then it's a sort of replica of that behind in terms of the main cockpit stowage. So a large lazarette area, big deep lazarette that spans really the whole beam of the boat, and you have access to the steering gear in there. And then the two shallow quarter lockers as well with their own entrances. Then moving up the side deck, you've got a bit of a bulwark, a nice little tow rail gives you a sense of safety, and a nice long grab handle on that high coach roof, so easy to grab something inboard. Moving forward, you've got a long Genoa track. The inboard shrouds slightly impede your movement forward on the side deck, but plenty of solar space on the roof, lots of hatches and lots of flat area forward on the foredeck as well. And then that leaves, in terms of stowage forward, the sail locker, which is large and deep, and it's plenty big enough to house some fenders and lines, or indeed, as we had, the kite on a top-down furler. Today made me remember the value in escapism that sailing can bring, and also recall that old Heineken motto about how it can refresh parts other beers can't reach. Maybe Discovery should adapt that for this Southerly range it now builds. These are refreshing blue water cruisers that can reach parts other monos can't.